It was like a 35-yard fade route.
Yeah.
That's great. That's good. You remember who he was over?
No, I don't.
We're going to find out.
Yeah. But it was that was my first. That was
What was going on through your head?
probably my first cheer.
Like, did you keep the ball?
Oh yeah. That going home with me. Man, I got like 100 balls at my house, like game balls and touchdown balls and stuff like that. So
Man,
I kept them all.
Speaking of first time, like, Ket, did you see when Caleb Williams threw the touchdown to what's the receiver? The receiver and Duze out of Washington. It was both. I think it was both their like first like touchdown.
And they were fighting over
went
the
to
ball?
each other and they fighting over who gonna get the actual ball because it's the first touchdown thrown. It's the first touchdown catch. They both rookies.
You gotta cut it.
Like man, you gotta go look at that up, man.
Yeah,
that's too funny,
that's crazy.
man. So you playing with Vick, you in the Michael Vick experience, man. I know you said it was crazy.
It's crazy.
What was it like just being on team? Because, unfortunately, even though we went to the NFC Championship game in 2004, 2005, and 6, we
went like 8-8 both years.
Yeah.
It was just disappointing because we were so much better than our record. You know what I'm saying? Because we got out the great starts. We was like 6-2 to start the season. And then on the back end, we started like faltering and losing games and stuff like that. And then, it was tough because Mike had got hurt, you know what I'm saying? He had got hurt one time, and then we had to go a couple games without him, and then Shabby came in, and played pretty well a couple games, and then Mike came back, and we just couldn't get back going the way we wanted to be. But, man, that was some of the best times of my life because he taught me so much of, like, growth and maturity at the wide receiver position. You know what I'm saying? Just understanding football and being like, hey, man, listen, don't be listening to everybody. Too many people. Because I felt like I was getting so much direction from so many other people. He's like, don't listen to nobody. Just win. When you come in, just win. I'll get you the ball. Mm-hmm. And we just kind of had that same chemistry. It was like, I'm just doing what Mike tell me to do. I'm going to win on these routes. And he was throwing me the rock. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was making plays for him. And, and that trust came, with each other. And, of course, I went through some times where I wasn't playing well, and he just always believed in me. He was like, man, you going to be a star. Don't worry about that. Like, don't worry about it. And he was always like that with me and always, like, just care for me. You know what I'm saying? And through that time where I wasn't playing well and people was like, oh, man, get Roddy out of here. He was like, man, don't worry about that. You're going to be straight. And that was his message to me all the time.
Let me ask you a question. I'm a big Michael Vick fan. It broke my heart when everything happened. But like, was Michael Vick a student of the game? Like, was he really?
It broke.
Like he was, because I feel like he was getting by on ability. I feel like if he would have, and I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, I felt like, to be quite honest with you, that year that we had Petrino, we was finna kill it. Mm-hmm. Like, I felt like the energy of us going through everything that we went through that offseason, going through OTA, man, we was on fire. Like, Mike was in such a good headspace. He was throwing it was totally different. You know what I'm saying? Totally different offense. We was doing things a lot better that's equated for him to do and things like that.
You think y'all would have been like a prolific offense?
Oh, we was going to be off that year, off and running, yo. And that's why I was so disappointed because
you had a great year that year.
Exactly.
You had like 800 catches.
Yeah. And I had like 1,200, right? 1,200 yards. With who knows who's going to be quarterback that week. We was going week to week.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
one of his favorite quarterbacks, Joey Harrington. One of his all-time.
The best, I ain't going to lie, the best ball thrower I ever been around, though.
Joey Harrington?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I called him, man. So I'm like, I'm optimistic every year for the Falcons, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, Trey. Man, Joey Harrington was a Heisman Trophy winner, man. Like number 3 overall pick. Man, he could be a good good environment, man, to come in. First game, man, is the Trey through that pick. Man, I was cussing all up and down.
He gave up on the man. He never went back to Joey Harrington after he gave up on the man. Put Byron in. That's what
you had Byron.
We got Byron later on in the season, though. We ain't even. Yeah.
And so. Who was getting? How you was eating up them balls, man? Who was throwing them to you?
Quite honestly, we started off with Joey, and at that time, I'm not gonna lie, Joey was like, he was so shell shocked from Detroit. It wasn't even his fault. You know what I'm saying? He had got hit so much that he was thinking he was about to get hit. Like one time we was playing St. Louis and Joey got benched because he thought he was about to get hit. He was just falling. And Coach Petrino was like, I can't do this no more. And he like benched Joey in the middle of the game. I'm like, what? I was like, who we gonna put in? And then Red came in, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, now we gotta switch a whole game plan.
Yeah.
You know, you catering to the quarterback, you know what I'm saying? So if you start off with Joey, now you gotta switch to do stuff for Red. And then when we got Byron, we had to switch the game plan to do what Byron do.
Different.
So it's like every week it could be different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I thought about Joey. I'm like, what happened? Like I come to the sideline and I just seen, Bobby just yelling. I'm like, what's going on? He was like, he benched Joey. Now Joey yelling back at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, they going back and forth. And I was like, what happened? They was like, go look at the thing. So I'm looking at the iPad. I'm like, oh shit, ain't nobody touched it. It just fell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he thought he was going to get hit. And then he was like, that's why he benched him. I was like, shit, I can't say nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, we put Red in. Then we got Byron like midway through the season. So we got Byron. He was going through the script and practicing, a couple weeks before we could actually put him in the game. And then he had one good game. And then the next week we played the Saints, and they hurt him.
Wow.
So it was like, we getting off, and then boom, I was like,
wow.
Oh my God. I said, man, this ain't my year. Yeah. I was just thinking like, this ain't my year. And if Mike would have been there, oh man, we would have went off that year. We would have went off.
I'm glad to hear this. I never.
Oh man.
So you say y'all was clicking and everything?
Oh, we was killing. We were killing. Like, you could just tell like the energy was different. The way we can call plays at the line, and Mike could check the certain things that he like or what he see. Like Bobby. Oh man. And that's the reason why Bobby left, to be quite honest with you. Because he was like, I came here for Mike Vick. I ain't come here for